Hi everybody, it's a little bit early. I know I said about 8:30, it's only just beforehand. Just thought I'd come on live and just do a little bit of sharing with you. Hopefully a few people will come on as well and say hi, and hopefully the comments are showing so I'll be able to see you and interact. Just wanted really to touch base with everybody after the theme last week and this week about work-life balance, and see if the PDF that I shared with everybody has been any use and what you got up to with it. So first of all, we had an area for you to put your best guess of what your work-life balance percentage was. So I'm not sure how many people got that right and how many people were just a little bit off and how many people were way off, but share your percentages, let us know what you got and how close you were. If you were about right with your guesses, and that's good. It shows that you kind of know where you're spending your time, where you're not spending your time, and if you know that you're spending too much time at work or whether or not you're spending more time at home than at work, it's fine. Either way, the percentages don't have to be right or wrong. It is what it is for you, and that's good. The next step was to then see how close that you were. So if you were way off and you were putting your percentages, say, as a 50-50 split, and then when you came to work it all out, you realised that actually you were spending 80% of your time at work, that's a little bit different, because then that's then showing that you're not realising where you're spending your time. So like within the document and with the Q&As I've had with people previously this week and last week, there's no right or wrong answer. It doesn't mean it has to be a 50-50 split, or it has to be a 60-40 split, or if you work from home it has to be an 80-20 split. It doesn't matter. Everybody is an individual, everybody is different, whether you've got children, whether you've got cats, whether or not you work evenings, whether or not you work as a nurse, whether or not you work from home, is going to have an influence in the amount of percentage time split. So you can't just sit here and say, right, well, your work-life balance is off kilter and tilted one way or the other if you've got a 60-40 split, because that might be exactly what you need and it might be perfect for you, which is great. That's what you're looking for. So there's no judgment, there's no kind of saying what's right or wrong. It was just for the main thing is that you know your percentages are right. So if you think you've got a 60-40 split and it's an 80-20, then there's somewhere you're spending more time than you realise, and that could be because it's either that you are unaware that you're spending that time. Hi Chris, thank you, lovely, for supporting me. It either means that you are not realising that you're spending far too much time in one place. It could be that you're working late and you don't realise that, and that is when it becomes a problem, because then that's when it starts to impact your home life. It could be that you are spending more time at home than at work. Maybe you've had a lot of time off sick, and if you don't realise that that's having an impact in your work life, then that's a problem. So what we asked you to do was to fill in one of these. It's all up backwards and other way around, wrong way around for there. And it showed that you should be looking at, for work, meetings, repetitive daily tasks, making sure you're taking a lunch break or having a break at some point, whether or not you're doing training or retraining, and obviously sorting out people's problems if you're in management. And that wheel was just a basic guide, just some ideas of what you could put on for your work life and your home life. Family, sleeping, obviously we all need to sleep, resting and relaxation, which is different to sleep. So relaxing and spending time resting shouldn't be under your sleep area. You should be able to have a good night's sleep and have time for yourself resting as well. So if you're putting rest under sleep, you're not getting enough time away to relax and just unwind and chill out. Health, diet and exercise I've put under one section, because usually they are kind of interlinked in some way, and socialising and having fun. That could be going for a walk with your dog, going out with the children, going down the pub. It could be anything that is what you like to do. So again, there's no right or wrong answer with that. So once you've kind of decided within that wheel which one you're going to go for, which ones are relevant to you, change the ones that aren't relevant to you, then what I wanted you to do was look at your time spent. So this is this table here, and just go through and put in percentages. So what you should have had is really kind of an even split between each of them. So you've got maybe 10% in each one, 15%, something like that. And that should be under both work and life. And hopefully what you then start to see is that you are splitting your day evenly, even your work day or your home section of your day evenly, in that you are, if you're at work 9 till 5, you've not spending 8 of those hours in meetings or 6 hours at lunch, that kind of idea. Then your next one was exactly the same table, only this one was under satisfaction. And what this one was for was just to see how happy you are with those percentages. So if you're spending 30% of your working day dealing with other people's problems, it might be that actually you're in management and that's what you're paid to do, in which case your satisfaction percentage should be 100%. You should be more than happy to do that because that's part of your job. If you're a supervisor and you're not in that area where you should be dealing with other people's problems all the time, then it might be something you're happy to do, but not necessarily satisfied doing all the time. So then that percentage would be lower and would sit maybe around 50%. And so what you start to see is in each area, whether or not it be work or home, the areas that you're most happy with or not happy with. If you're happy with it, that's fine. There's no judgment there. It's not a case of saying if you spend 80% of your working day sorting out people's problems, that's a bad thing. You might enjoy doing that. You might be happy doing that. You might be more than satisfied doing that. It's up to you. It's your job. It's what you do. You know your thing. So it's whether or not you're happy with it. And that's the whole point with this work-life balance is it's not whether or not your husband's happy with your balance. It's not whether or not the kids are happy with your balance, whether your friend is happy with your balance. It's making sure that you're happy with it. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to juggle these around, make sure they fit, and spend the time either at work or at home doing these things. So you've got to be more than happy with what you're doing. So following that was then looking at this one, which was your plan. And really this was for the people that have come with some percentages of areas that they're not happy with. So if under your lunch breaks you've put in there a 20%, that shows that you're not taking as much lunch time as you should be. And it might be it's the end of year, it could be the end of month, it could be reports are due, it could be appraisal time. That's fine if you can understand it or you can justify it and you can say, well, actually, I haven't taken lunch this week because I've had back-to-back meetings because we are recruiting at the moment. That's fine. If you're saying, oh, I can't remember the last time I've taken a lunch break, it's been months because my boss keeps telling me I need to do this and he keeps calling more meetings or she keeps putting lunches in. If your lunches have been taken up by somebody else, it's out of your control and it's ongoing, then you need to put within your plan a change. You need to look at a way of changing that. You cannot sustain that level of workload long term. So then what you want to be doing is looking at the area of change that you have on your list. So it might be meetings, it could be lunch breaks, it could be sorting out other people's issues, could be training. Maybe you've not done any training for a little while and it's something that you want to do. So what you then do in that first column is you put under the area of change for work and area of change for life in the second column is put one area. And the reason I've said one is because if you try to change all of those 5 areas, you're going to be spending so much time trying to change everything, you're not going to be satisfied with the changes and it's going to get too much and you're not going to be able to sustain it and you'll end up giving up on it way too early. So just pick one area to start with that you can comfortably change. So let's take, for instance, retraining and training. So it might be that actually within your job, you can't say the last time you had a course or was given some extra training in the job that you're doing. And it might be if you're in leadership, if you're in management, you could have been doing this job for years, you know what you're doing, but maybe you haven't done any updates. Maybe you haven't done some retraining recently. So under the area of change for work, you'd put your training section. And then what you have under that is 5 actions. You don't necessarily have to use all 5 of them, but you should be using at least 3. And then what you want to be doing is, under those actions, is putting down simple things that you can do to make that change. So under train or retraining, it could be research training that's available. It's a nice simple one. It could be email your boss and ask of this training, email the learning and development team, emailing the training team, emailing your human resources team, whoever it is that manages a training at your work. Drop them an email and say, look, do you know what, it was 2009 last time I had any training, I think I'm due some, or I'd like to have a go learning something new. Whatever it is that you want to do, but that's your first action. Then another action might be that you buy some books. Training doesn't have to be formal training, it doesn't have to be workshop training. It could be that you download a free ebook, it could be you go to the library and get a book, it could be that you go on Amazon and buy a book. Anything like that that you want to do. And by listing them down as actions, you're then taking some responsibility and giving yourself accountability. Each thing you want to change, really, if you're really putting the effort in, you should be able to find 5 things that you need to do to make that action happen and make it change. What I haven't done in this plan is put down some accountability around deadlines. It seemed a little bit harsh on your first one. What you want to start doing is looking at kind of saying, I'm going to do this and when I'm going to do it by. And we'll come to that probably in the next week or so, which is about taking responsibility, being accountable for your actions and your changes. And when you're setting yourself deadlines, making sure that they're achievable ones. So kind of setting smart goals, but without being that kind of in-depth. At the minute, for this PDF and for this plan, I wanted to keep it nice and simple, generally for people that are performance developing for the first time, or it's not something that you do very often. If you've got a bad work-life balance, the last thing you want is a great big document that you need to read and fill in and complete and all these tests and assessments that you need to do. You just won't do it. So what I wanted to do is make this nice and simple for you, just so that you could fill it in nice and quickly and know where you're going to go with it. What we'll then do over the next couple of weeks is start breaking those plans down into bigger deadlines and then getting you into a good place where you can change what you're doing. So that's where we are with the PDF. I wanted also to say a hello and a bit of a welcome to our new people. We've got just over 40 members now, which is really good within our first week. So hopefully the group's going to start to get bigger and people are going to be able to start really seeing what we can do. Hi Dawn, thank you for joining. What I'd like to do with the group is make it interactive, you know, not in your face. I'm not going to be on here every half hour kind of telling you what you should be doing to have a better world. Your work-life balance would be out of kilter if I did that. Really what I want to do is just create a nice place for professional people, people at work or people that are in owning their own businesses or have their jobs that way, and just give them a place where they can comfortably talk and share ideas. One of the things I notice with things on Facebook is you share something on Facebook about having a bad day and your team see it or your boss sees it, and then it's brought up and it's dragged up and it's thrown against you. This is going to be a nice, friendly place for you to be able to share your ideas, share your fears, and also hopefully get a little bit of free coaching, which everybody likes, don't they? So you can PM me if you want to keep it secret. Post on the wall. It doesn't just have to be my posts. I'm not that much of a control freak, although Chris might say something different. What I really want you to do is to be able to share on the wall anything that you want to share, any ideas, any kind of concerns or issues that you have, and I will be able to reply and offer some support. And other people too, because it might be that there's somebody else on the group that is an expert in that area, especially for those of you that have got your own businesses. We've got a couple of people on the group now who are website designers. We've got some beauty therapists and hairdressers. So, you know, you've got your work ball coming up. I know that they'll be happy to help out, all of those kind of things. And then we can kind of create a nice sort of I don't want to say haven, it's a little bit fluffy, but a nice place for you to be able to share ideas and support each other. There will be opportunities for those of you with your own business to promote it, and I'll make sure you've got plenty of notice to be able to do that as well. But there will be some sales stuff from me. This is a business that I'm running, so it is attached to Avalanche Coaching, which is my current business. So there will be the odd sales thing on there. I hope people aren't offended by that. Generally it will be nice and soft, it won't be in your face, and if you want to take it up, that's great. If not, you don't have to. There is no pressure. You don't have to stay in the group only if you're going to buy from us, or kind of have some coaching, or pay for one of my premium packages or anything like that. If you really want to, you can just stay on nice silent partner in the background, learning, taking the advice, downloading the free PDFs, all that kind of stuff. It's totally up to you. So thank you for joining me tonight. It was just a quick one. I just wanted to get on and say hi to everybody now that I'm not so full of cough and cold, and hopefully a little bit more understandable, and just go through the PDF with you and give you a little bit of background to it. So I will leave the video up for those of you who haven't been able to join us live, and you can watch it at your own time. Any questions, comment below, and hopefully we can help you get through it. Thank you again. Take care. Bye.